There's still a whole lot of building work going on around us. The gas men are in the street. There are builders out the back, drills and saws and hammering. It's a lovely summer's day. Right, where are we? Let me see. The time is 10 to 6 in the morning. Where's my list? 17 centigrade, 62 Fahrenheit, 52% humidity, 1029 millibars on the barometer. I mention the barometer because there are quite a lot of people around the world that like to study, well, not study, but keep an eye on barometric pressure. One or two have said to me, what's this barometer business? It's pressure, it's air pressure. We have, I think we've got 5 barometers in the house, sort of antique ones. Listen to that noise now. And what I do every day is I have a look. If the pressure's low, it'll say on the barometer where the dial goes down, the pointer, it'll say stormy rain, stormy weather. When the pressure gets higher, it says fine weather, sun and all that sort of thing. So it's quite useful as an indication as to what the weather is about to do. I quite like old-fashioned barometers, the old vintage ones, because apart from looking nice, they are very useful. Sadly, the flag is still wrapped round the pole. It's a bit tatty. It's in tatters. The trouble is I have to take the pole down to sort the flag out. I used to have the rope going up to it, so I could haul it up and down. But the rope broke several times. Well, it wasn't rope, it was thin nylon stuff. And then it used to bang against the pole and go ding, ding, ding. Have you ever been down to the harbour or wherever you are where the yachts are parked? The masts, right, the aluminium masts, as they are these days, a lot of them, they've got ropes going up them and they're going clang, clang, clang in the, not just the wind, but just in the breeze. Clang, 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 all these yachts in the harbour, even the ones on land. Because down on the seafront here, well, along a little bit at Goring, they've got a sort of yacht club place, and they're all parked in this car park, a yacht park, and they all clang away there, the ropes hitting the aluminium poles, and that's what was happening to the flag. So I thought, well, rather than annoy the neighbours all night, I'd just stick the flag up the top, tie it up there permanently, which is fine, of course, until it wraps itself and gets tangled around the pole. Then I have to take the pole down. It's a hard life, isn't it? There's always something to do. Now, who was it? Gwen. Gwen from Wales. Hello, Gwen. Nice to hear from you. I think you've emailed before, haven't you? Gwen says, we're always talking about the past, which we are. What about the future? What's going to happen in the future? She says, Ray, have you got any ideas what will happen? Well, Gwen, I have. I've got a few ideas. Are things getting worse? That's what Gwen also asks. For the last 10 years or so, I've been thinking that, this online shopping, you get everything delivered. Well, that's happening with the supermarkets as well. You don't need to go to the supermarket to do your weekly shop anymore. You do it all online and it's delivered. The chap brings it in, you put it all away and that's it, job done. The only trouble is you get stuff that you didn't want. You get substitutes and, we haven't got this, so we gave you that. Some of them have been quite funny, actually. A friend of ours, she ordered blonde hair dye. She wanted blonde hair dye. And they sent her washing up liquid instead. And she thought, well, I'm not going to use washing up liquid on my hair. That sort of thing happens. But in the main, the deliveries are fine. And I've always thought, for the last 10 years or so, I reckon that's the way it's going to go. I reckon we'll end up where you don't actually go to the supermarket. It will be closed to the public and it will just be a distribution centre. So all the vans will go there, collect the orders that people have picked and got ready, and then the vans will go out and deliver the orders. One reason I think that's going to happen is pure economics. It's financial, isn't it? And any big business is worried about finance. If that's the case, they get rid of all their staff, well, apart from the people that pick the orders and sort out the warehouse. It'll just become a big warehouse. They get rid of the staff. They haven't got to worry about car parking, trolleys, all the tills, all the staff on the tills. Get rid of the whole lot. And it'll just be, as I say, a big warehouse type distribution centre. I think we've talked before about the government and whoever wanting to... Listen, can you hear that? Some sort of saw going on now. Wanted to revive the high street, bring back the high street. Well, you can't. It's full of coffee shops, estate agents and whatever else they've got down there. Oh, that saw going reminds me. Tim, nice to hear from you. Tim says, because I had the windows open the other day, do you remember cars going past? Tim said, I like that. He said, hearing all that makes me realise you're in the real world, not stuck in a cardboard box, as he put it. No, I'm not stuck in a cardboard box, Tim. I'm in the real world, hence the saw going somewhere. I don't know where it is or what they're doing. Back to the high street, the revival of, which I don't think will take place because, as I say, it's changed beyond all recognition, hasn't it? There are a few shops there, of course, but the big shops have moved out of town. A lot of them, like, is it BHS, Woolworth, and they've all closed. So what is left in the town centre? Not a lot. Parking is horrendous. And people are buying things online. And I must admit, I am guilty. Well, here's an example. I used to go around to our local little ironmonger, just round the corner from where we live. Lovely chap, had his little shop there, all sorts of things, ironmongery. I'd go in there and buy a tube of glue, which is great. It's round the corner, it helps him. I'm keeping a local business going. I mean, I bought more than a tube of glue, you know. Obviously, he's not going to survive on me buying one tube of glue once a year. But the point is, now he's gone, he's retired and closed. What I do now is order a tube of glue online. Because to go to the nearest place that sells glue means getting into the car. There's nowhere in town, not that I know. Oh, possibly Robert Dias, is it? I don't know. It's just so much easier. I order glue online and it'll turn up the next day. And even, I've had this before, item will turn up on the same day if you order it early enough in the morning. So why go to a shop? I do like trying to support local businesses, but they've gone. Local businesses don't exist anymore. The little shops that we had, they've all gone. How can I support something that doesn't exist? Not in my immediate area anyway. It means going up to the big supermarkets out of town, which is driving and traffic and money on petrol and parking and all that nonsense, or just order it online and it'll be here tomorrow. It is a shame because those of you getting on in years will remember in town, wherever you are, all the little shops, ironmongers, chemist, the wool shop where they sold wool and knitting patterns and knitting needles and cotton and the rest of it. Do people knit anymore? Do people even repair their own clothes anymore? Trish will do a bit of sewing. Depending on what it is, she'll sew something, adjust something. She doesn't knit anything anymore. I don't know whether... Oh, yes, in fact, who is it? Our niece's... Let me get this right. Our granddaughter's... No, hang on a minute. Yes, our granddaughter's mother-in-law. Anyway, this lady we know, she does knitting because she's knitting for a baby that's due in the family when are we? In December. She has been knitting baby clothes, so that hasn't died altogether, which is good. All the shops, though, have gone. The ironmongers, the chemist, the butcher, the greengrocer, the candlestick maker, the whole lot. The tailor. We had a tailor in town where I had my suit made for my wedding back in 1800 and something. That was good. By the way, I've taken quite an interest in Queen Victoria. Quick change of subject there, sorry about that. As you know, we've been to the Isle of Wight many times and we usually go to Osborne House, which was her Isle of Wight residence. And I've taken quite an interest in her and all sorts of history. I think as you get older, you get more interested in history and things like that. Anyway, I digress. So Back to the Future. I never did see that film, Back to the Future. Back to the Future, I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people don't want gardens anymore. They don't grow their own vegetables and bits and pieces. They don't do that anymore. Very few people these days have a greenhouse where they grow their own tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. There are some around, but in the old days, just about everyone had a greenhouse with something growing in it. What I mean by the old days is the 1950s, 60s, lovely blue sky out there. It's going to be a beautiful day again. Talking to my brother-in-law the other day, he's not growing tomatoes this year. He said, well, it's such a palaver. You go away for a weekend or you've got a holiday booked. You've got to get someone to water them. You've got to get someone to take out the side shoots. You know, they've got to be looked after. You can't just clear off on holiday for 2 weeks and leave them because when you get back, they'll be dead. And as he said, it's such a palaver. Just go and buy them at the supermarket. And I think that is the way a lot of people are thinking these days. Not me. I love growing the tomatoes. I love growing all the bits and pieces in the garden. I don't know whether you've heard on the news, this is in Britain, about a 4-day week. People are thinking about a 4-day week. Apparently they've done a trial with 17 companies or whatever it was about this 4-day week. Well, I don't know. Is that something that's going to come in the future? Because in the old days, we worked 6 days a week. And then shops had the half-day closing on Wednesdays, which was all over the UK, half-day closing. Then shops were allowed to open on Sunday because Sundays, in the old days, there were no shops open, they're closed. You don't open on a Sunday. The pubs were only open from 12 till 2 and then from 6 till 10:30 on a Sunday. Whereas now Sundays are open all day and half the night it seems. So things are changing. But as for this 4-day week, how is that going to work? Will shops only open for 4 days a week, or will they have to take on more staff because they're open 7 days a week? So if your staff are only doing 4 days, you're going to have, well, probably double the amount of staff to take on the days where other people are at home. I don't know. We can't have the hospital closed for 3 days a week, can we? Only open 4. I really don't know what's going to happen. Also, if people are going to work a 4-day week, will they get paid for 4 days, or will they get paid for the 5 days that they used to do? Or will the 4-day week not be an 8-hour day? Will it be, say, a 10 or 12-hour day? I don't know. But that's something that they're trialling and talking about for the future. I'm sounding a bit hoarse again. I think it's this hot weather, this dry atmosphere. The humidity is very low. What did I say it was? Where's my notes? 52%. Very often it's 80, 90%, isn't it? So that could be it. I've had coffee, which doesn't help because that's what's it called? Not a dielectric. I don't know what it does. It's not good anyway, drinking too much coffee. Just before I go and get a drink and have a break and look in the garden, one more thing that's come to mind. In the old days, people would repair their own car. On a Sunday, you'd see people changing the plugs, cleaning the plugs, changing the points or cleaning the points, doing bits and pieces to the car. If they didn't know how to do it, there was always a neighbour. There was always old Fred up the road. Old Fred will have a look at your car for you. Here's a mechanic. Whereas now, you haven't got old Fred up the road because you can't do your car yourself, and neither can Fred. They're too complicated. They're all electronic. You open the bonnet, the hood, if you're in America. Why is it called a bonnet? I don't know. That's interesting. Oh, I know why in America, I know why you call the boot, as we call it, the trunk. That's because it was a trunk, wasn't it? It was a wooden trunk on the back of the old car. So it was literally a trunk. I don't know why we call ours a boot. Was it literally a boot, a Wellington boot that you put stuff in? I don't know. And then the front, where the engine is, we call that the bonnet. You call it the hood. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about all that. So these days with modern cars, what do? You have to take it to your local garage to have it repaired. And they plug a computer into it to find out what's wrong. And that doesn't always work. They did that on our car. I won't go into that, but we had trouble for weeks. Oh, no, the computer says it's fine. Yeah, well, it isn't. Yeah, but the computer says it is. Yeah, well, every now and then it misses. It was a coil pack, for those who know about cars. In the old days, we had an ignition coil. Now we have a coil pack with loads of coils. Anyway, that went wrong. Every now and then it was cutting out. The ignition was cutting out. That's all it was. The computer couldn't see that, so it said the car was perfectly all right. The mechanic believed the computer and sent me away. Bring back the old days. So that's something else that's changed and can only get worse. You can't have a look at the car yourself anymore. You've got to take it to someone and pay out a fortune. Sorry about the background noises again. It's now, what day is it? Do you know, I don't even know what day it is half the time. It's Friday now. I think it was Thursday yesterday when I started the podcast episode. Cars. What I was going to say was, talking of the future, as we sort of are, what will happen with cars? Because we're getting millions more on the road every year. Now, I don't know how far in the future, but will there be driverless cars all going around the place? And what you do, you go outside your house, one comes along, a bit like a taxi, you hop into it. I want to go downtown, I want to go to Brighton or whatever. You just tell it and it takes you there. I wonder whether that sort of system will come around. So that way you haven't got your own car. That must be rather... I mean, how would we go to the Isle of Wight? So we go outside, we've got our cases, we're ready to go. Take me to the ferry at Portsmouth. I suppose the car would drive you there, dump you off. Would the car be based somewhere? I don't know. Then someone else could. A bit like the bikes There are bikes, aren't there, around certain towns or cities. You can hop on the bike, use it and dump it somewhere. Then someone else finds it. Oh, I'll use that bike. That's quite an interesting concept, actually, because we can't just keep having millions more cars on the roads every year. As it is, there's no parking, everywhere's jammed up, gridlocked. It's just getting worse and worse. So perhaps that will be the answer. Just these driverless sort of pods that cruise around various streets. You'd probably hail one, wouldn't you, on an app? You'd get your phone, I'm here, look, come and get me. I don't know what it would cost. I suppose you'd have to pay, well, someone's got to pay for it. You probably flash your credit card at, or your phone or something. You flash your phone at the dashboard and off you'd go. I don't know. The future. Do I want that sort of thing? Listen to that noise out. I must do the flag. There are people out there with a cement mixer. We live in the middle of a building site. It's quite funny, actually. Do you remember I was talking about, was it last Sunday, changes in your town and or in your life over the decades? Had an interesting email from Joe. Hello, Joe. He's in the UK somewhere. He says police stations have disappeared. They have, Joe. He says that in his town, you don't say where your town is. In his town, they had a police station. It's only a small town. And now that's gone. There's a main police station in a larger town some distance away. We have lost a lot of police stations, Joe. In the village where I lived many years ago, we had a little police station there, and the little copper on his bike, well, he wasn't so little actually, he was quite a large copper. He used to cycle around the village, and if I'm out the front, he'd say, hello there, how you doing, all right? Yeah, no problems. That was really nice. We had a police station in Lancing, which is east of me. That's gone. We had a police station in East Preston, which is west of me. That's gone. They've all gone. There were police houses. It was like a police house, which was also a police station. So there was always someone there. They've all gone. We had a main police station in my town. They moved, and I don't quite know what it is now. In the centre of the town, they've got like a shop front. I think that is the police station. But slightly out of town, there's another place in like a big high-rise building. I don't know. You used to have the local police station number written down by your phone, didn't you? Your landline phone. In the days of old when we had proper equipment, not this modern rubbish. And you'd have the local copper station on your phone thing, and you could phone them, not 999. You could phone them and say, oh, hello, it's me from, whatever road. Got a problem outside or whatever. And then someone would pop round on his bike. No, seriously, that's how it was. It was nice. Anyway, yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Police stations have disappeared all over the country. Everything has disappeared. Pubs have disappeared. I don't know how many pubs we've lost in my town here. I tried to count once. I think we got up to about 20. Now, seriously, you might think, well, it's not that much, surely. Can't be that many. Yes, it was about 20 or more. Because one evening we were all together in a pub, I forget the family thing, and we were all looking at each other. Oh, I remember this, yeah, the Victoria, yeah, that's gone. The Spaniard, the Buckingham, that's gone, yeah, the Buckingham. The Wheat Sheaf, that's gone. The Elms, that's gone. I'm just reeling a few off the top of my head. There were so many. The Montague, there were so many. The Clifton, the Jolly Brewers, they're all coming to mind now. They've all gone. Jeff, nice to hear from you. Same subject. It was last Sunday, wasn't it? I was talking about how your life and your town has changed. Jeff says that they used to have a lovely cinema in his town. Again, I don't know what town you're in. Jeff, you haven't said where you are. He says they had a lovely cinema there that wasn't used a great deal. That's the trouble. Not many people went to it. It was busy, but not as busy as it should be. It obviously wasn't profitable. That is now a block of flats. Such a shame. And he says we don't have a cinema now. I suppose people don't. Do they go to the cinema these days? I mean, I don't, but I'm different, aren't I? I don't count. So that's gone. I think we've got, how many cinemas have we got there, Jeff? We've got one, I think we've got two. We did have 4 or 5, I don't know, they've disappeared. And also, Jeff says that they had a lovely park with a lake in the middle of the park. It was lovely. You couldn't go fishing there, but there were fish in the lake. There were reeds around the edge of the lake. He said it was a beautiful place, a footpath all round it, benches where you could sit. It was lovely. So what did they do? They filled it in. He does say this was a few decades ago, but they filled it in, and it's now just nothing. It's just grass. It was probably the upkeep of it, Jeff, the local council. We had a lake. There's a place near the hospital here where I am, Homefield Park. There was a lake there. Now, I don't know whether I remember it or not from the very early days, but that was filled in. And I believe that was because of the costs of upkeep and clearing it and looking after it. What a shame, though. In fact, there was another lake or a pond. Where is it? Half Moon Lane. I think there was Half Moon Pond. There was Titnall Pond. There were several. They've gone. Everything's gone. I mean, what is happening? We're going to have nothing left, aren't we? We're going to have concrete everywhere. Oh, and of course, according to Ed Miliband and the government, we're going to have solar panels everywhere. There won't be any fields, countryside, hills, all covered in solar panels. They say that's not the case, but it does seem that that is going to be the way. We don't want farms. We don't need food. Let's have solar panels. Honestly, it's quite worrying, really, isn't it? And also, apart from solar panels, wind farms. All these wind turbines everywhere. I don't think we're going to have any countryside left. There won't be anywhere for insects or birds, because the birds eat the insects. Well, if all the birds look down on are solar panels, there won't be any insects down there. There won't be any flowers. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Young girls picked them, every one. Ed Miliband covered them up, every one, with his solar panels. It's worrying, isn't it? We're into July now. August is getting closer. North Carolina's son will be coming over to do this computer business. I've been clearing up because I'll be in trouble. I get told off. He says, you shouldn't have cables everywhere. You don't want to do that. He said to me on the phone the other day, you're not using the sound card in your computer, are you? I said, no. No, I've got my mixer and the Focusrite thing and I've got all that. I just realised I am using the sound card in the computer. So I've been tidying up. I've taken away a load of wires and microphones I had everywhere, sorting out audio leads, which leads me on nicely. Just a little warning. If you find in a few weeks' time there's no episode, I might miss the midweek message, I might miss the Sunday podcast. It's because we're changing computers. Okay, he's going to come over, we're going to build this one together. That means he is, I'm not, I'm going to watch. And there might be a kind of gap in the episodes. I don't know, hopefully it will all go to plan and it'll be seamless, as they say these days. The transition from one computer to the other will be totally seamless. What do you think the future holds? Let me know. Raise rants at protonmail.com. As I said, my son and I were talking the other day, and he was saying that in the future, we probably won't have a keyboard. You'll just talk to the computer. Probably won't have a keyboard. I wonder whether we're going to lose all our skills. A lot of people have learnt to type on a keyboard. I only use 2 fingers, but I am pretty fast. What would I do without a keyboard? Just talk to the thing. I don't know, it's rather odd. But of course, it'll come about, won't it? It's like driverless trains will come about eventually. We've already got them, haven't we? Is it what is it in London? The Canary Wharf or Docklands Light Railway, is it? Yes, the Docklands Light Railway, I believe. Driverless trains. And the monorail train from North to South Terminal at Gatwick Airport. There's no driver there, that's just automatic, driverless. And of course it'll happen on mainline trains, won't it, eventually? And with cars. I'm not sure that I'd like a pilotless aircraft, because with a train it'll just stop. With a car it can just stop. With the aircraft, if something goes wrong, if the computer needs rebooting, switch it off and on again, well, there's no one there to do it. Anyway, that's a long way in the future, I'm sure, pilotless aircraft. So what will people do? All these jobs will disappear. I remember my father-in-law, Trisha's dad, I remember him saying, because he was a train driver, when we went from steam to electric, the fireman, he was out of a job. I mean, British Rail did try to find people jobs. When the signalling all went automatic and computer controlled, the signalmen were out of jobs. But that's progress, isn't it? So what will people do when there are no taxi drivers, no train drivers, no bus drivers, no aircraft pilots? Everyone will just sit at home. They won't type on the keyboard, they just talk to the computer. They won't go shopping, they'll order it online by talking to the computer. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll all become lazy and, am I allowed to use the word fat? Oh no, that's been banned these days, I'll get arrested. We'll all become lazy and overweight. I don't know. It's worrying. Yes, let me know what you think about the future, just for a change. We're normally talking about the past. What do you reckon? Raise rants at protonmail.com. Also, I should mention robots. Have you seen on YouTube and other places about these robots? They're doing all sorts of wonderful things. Some of them look real. They look like human beings. That's worrying. I must admit, when I've got a lengthy email to answer, I don't type it, I talk. You can do that on your phone and on your iPad. You can talk to it and it'll type it for you. Okay, it makes mistakes, but you can then go on to correct that when you've finished. Because sometimes I've got quite a lot to say in response to an email, and to type it would take a while. So just press the microphone icon, rabbit away till your heart's content. Just go through it, edit bits and pieces, put a little bit of punctuation where needed. Job done. So I'm already talking to the computer, aren't I? In fact, I'm talking to the computer now, when you think about it. Anyway, going back to the past for a minute, in the 1950s, talking about people becoming lazy as the future evolves or unfolds. Back then, people did washing by hand. You had the old mangle, didn't you, on the washing machine thing. Put your washing through that. You'd hang it out to dry. These days, you throw it in the machine and press a button. It's all done for you. Then if you don't want to hang it outside, chuck it in the tumble dryer, press a button, and it's dry. You still have to iron things, of course, but perhaps that's where a robot will come in. Each household will have a robot that cleans and irons. And if it's nearing dinner time, so robot, I want egg, chips, beans and bread and a cup of tea. Yes, sir. Off it would go and cook your dinner for you or whatever. I don't know. It's funny. I know we laugh, but the future does unfold, doesn't it? And very often things in the past that were fiction are now fact. They're reality. As I've mentioned before, the old communicators on Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. Well, we've got mobile phones now. They look just like communicators. Well, almost, don't they? So fiction becomes fact. So I wonder, will we have a sort of housemaid wandering around the place with a duster and vacuuming the carpets and things, while we, or I should say I, just sit there getting fat? No, I don't like the sound of that at all. I do like to keep active. I mean, I'm not a health freak at the gym. I'm not at the gym every 5 minutes. In fact, I'm not there at all, ever. But I do like walking. I do like gardening. I like doing things. And I think if in the future everything's done for us, it will be incredibly boring, won't it? Just imagine you don't have to do any housework. You don't have to look after your car because you haven't got one. You haven't got a job. I don't know. It's a weird sort of thought, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on from that. What have I got on my notes here? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a break and I will be back in a nanosecond. A nanosecond to you, but 24 hours to me. It's now Saturday. The weather has changed. That's it. Summer's gone. Weather's changed. It's all finished. We've got wind, rain. What's the temperature in here? Well, in here it's 24. The flag isn't doing anything. It's twisted round the pole in a knot. So what's happening? I was going to mention another thing about the future. Well, it's here already, and that's AI, particularly where it comes to putting people out of work. Authors, playwrights, script writers, all these people that write books and whatever. Well, AI will do it for them. This is what I'm hearing anyway. I think it's early days of AI, is it? But in the future, what's going to happen there? It's just going to, I don't know, it'll take over everything. AI apparently is writing computer programs. You want a bit of code written, you just say to AI, I want you to write some code to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it says, and it does it within seconds, especially if it's not just a little bit of code, if it's a major thing. It would take a team of people, are they called coders? They used to be programmers, I don't know what they are now. It would take a team of people, it could take weeks, hundreds of hours of work to put this program together. AI will do it in, I don't know, however long. So all those people are redundant. Who needs those? You don't need programmers, coders. AI will do it for you. So that's something else that will change or is changing things drastically. Oh, just briefly going back to, I was talking about mending clothes, sewing and knitting and stuff like that. Do you remember people darning socks? I do. I remember my grandmother darning socks. I bet you've never heard of it. I bet a lot of you younger people listening, you're thinking, what? Darning sock? What's darning? You get a sock with a hole in it. Okay, what do you do these days? chuck it in a bin and buy a new pair of socks. In the old days, you'd have, what was it called? Come on, any old ladies out there? I'm not trying to be rude. What was it? Was it a darning mushroom? It was a wooden thing that you stretch the sock over where the hole is and you repair it, with a needle and, what was it, wool, I suppose. Were they woolen socks? And you darn it, you repair it, you sew the hole up sort of thing. Was it a darning mushroom? No doubt someone will tell me. Raise rants at protonmail.com. But of course a lot of things were repaired back then. You didn't chuck a pair of socks away because there's a hole in one of them. We do now. Mind you, again, you see the socks, they're all made in China. They're all churned out by the 100 billion. And they're not expensive. I don't know. It's not a good thing, really, is it? We live in a throwaway world now. DAB radios. Because I used to restore the vintage radios, people have found the website. They'd phone me. Can you look at my DAB radio? No, sorry, I can't. You have to chuck it away, buy a new one. I remember a lady said to me, well, I spent £40 on it. It was new. It cost me £40 a few years ago. And I said, well, it would probably cost you more than that to have it repaired, if I could repair it. So I suggested she went and bought another one, which she did. It is a throwaway world, isn't it? Almost with cars as well. In the old days, you buy a car, a second-hand car. My first car was a 1954 Hillman Minx. How about that, 1954? Showing my age. That went on and on forever. You keep repairing bits of it. There were a lot of old bangers around then. Cars, we don't have old bangers now. I mean, what's the oldest car on the road? I'm not talking about vintage cars. If a car is, 20 years old? Well, that's the end of its life, isn't it, really? You might get another 5 years out of it. In the old days, you could keep a car going almost forever. It was only the rust here in the UK that really ended the life of a car, when the rust just got, there was more rust than there was metal on the car. I don't think you had that in America, did you? Didn't you have galvanised steel chassis, square section galvanised steel that didn't rust, or am I dreaming? Anyway, let me know about that as well. Raise rants at protonmail.com. Just going back to the lake, I did a bit of research. The lake at Homefield Park, near the hospital where I live. Kerry, if you're listening, you won't remember the lake. I thought I did, but obviously not. It was filled in 1930 when they extended the hospital, apparently. So they filled the lake in. That's a shame. I mean, you won't remember that, Kerry. You're a lot younger than me, aren't you? Stone the crows. How old am I? I don't know. Another thing that's gone is the milkman. Do you remember we used to have the milkman? Did you have milkman in America? It's something I've often meant to ask, and I've never actually got round to asking. Anyone in America, I know a lot of listeners in America, did you have milkmen in the old days come and bring your milk to the door every morning? We did here. We had newspapers delivered, as I know you did in America, because the paper boy where you are, he'd cycle past and throw it at your house, wouldn't he? Well, according to the films I've seen anyway, I don't know whether that's true. Whereas here, we had to post them through the letterbox. Of course, in America, your letterbox is on a pole, isn't it, at the end of your path or driveway, by the sidewalk. Whereas here, the letters are posted through the front door. So yes, what else is missing? The bread man, the grocer used to come around in his van. The baker, he'd come round in his van. The fish man, the meat man, the butcher. It's all gone. Everything's gone. The worrying thing is, what's going to happen in the future to pubs? How many are closing a week? Hundreds, probably thousands throughout the country have closed over the past however many years, and they're continuing to close. There are some locally that have only closed recently, and they've been converted into flats. There are 2 I can think within walking distance of here. They're now flats. Such a shame. That's the Elms and the Southdown. Was it the Southdown View? No, it was the Southdown pub. That's now flats. So pubs are disappearing fast. I wonder whether local libraries are disappearing. I haven't been to our library for decades. People don't necessarily need a library with books in these days. I mean, who wants to read books? No, having said that, people do read books, fiction. I'm talking about reference books, because it's all online. In the old days, you'd have a set of encyclopedias at home, as we did when I was young. My parents bought a whole set of encyclopedias. You'd thumb through the encyclopedia looking for information, or go to the library. Now, of course, you can just say on your phone, tell me so-and-so, how many people live in India? What's the capital of Paraguay? It's just all there, isn't it? You don't need books anymore. That's a shame. Fiction, books, of course. Trish reads fiction. Her mum does, my mum used to. A lot of people still read books. Is AI going to take over from the authors? I don't know. And of course, spelling. Do people need to know how to spell anymore? Especially if in the future you don't need even to type on the keyboard. I mean, if you type on your keyboard now, the auto spelling correct thing or whatever it is will do that for you. Mind you, I don't think that happens with a lot of people. The amount of articles and emails you see online and everything, some people's spelling is atrocious. I don't know why it isn't corrected by the computer. So who will need to spell, learn how to spell? What's the point? Especially with no keyboard, you're talking to the computer. You can use lengthy words that you have no idea how to spell, and the computer will do it for you. You can also use lengthy words that you haven't got a clue what they mean, and the computer will probably correct it for you. So we'll all end up illiterate. No, it's not funny. It's true, isn't it? People used to, look, I've got my biro here. People used to carry a pen round with them all the time and a little notebook, and you'd have notes. You'd write things on the calendar, on the wall. I know a lot of people still do that. We do, even though we have online diaries. But people won't need to write. They won't need to know how to spell. It's just, I don't know. It could end up as a disaster, to be honest. Mathematics, will we need to know how to add up, divide, subtract, multiply? Why do all that? Why block your head up with all that stuff when the computer can do it for you? We could very well end up a bit thick, to be honest. We can't spell, can't read, don't need to read because the computer will speak to you. Don't need to write because you'll speak to the computer. Don't need to add up, don't need to know maths, don't need to know anything. Won't need to know how to drive a car. As I said earlier, there'll all be driverless cars. Even these days, more and more cars are automatic, so you don't need to know how to change gear, use the clutch. Forget all that. I know several people who are licensed to drive automatics only. When they took their test, they took it in an automatic car, so they can't drive a manual car. They're not allowed to. And they probably don't want to be honest. We've had automatics and they're so nice. The one we've got at the moment is manual. But we have both said the next car we get, definitely automatic. Not because we're lazy, but Trisha's got arthritis in her hand and to keep changing gear isn't good. And with the amount of traffic these days, it's stop, start every few yards. It's hopeless. So you need an automatic. Back in the old days, I remember people saying, computers will take over the world, robots will take over, computers will start thinking for themselves. And when you try to turn it off, it won't turn off. It'll say, no, I'm not switching off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. There were old films about this sort of thing. I can't think of any offhand. But I remember films where you couldn't turn the computer off. What was that one film? Oh, was it A Space Odyssey? With Hal, the computer, the chap had got locked out of the spacecraft, hadn't he? He was outside the craft. And Hal, the computer, wouldn't let him back in. I saw that film, Stone the Crows. When was that? I'm going back decades and decades, I think. Hal, A Space Oddity, and the computer was called Hal. Now, people are still saying that sort of thing could happen today. Computers actually thinking, not the way we think, but thinking for themselves. Anyway, let's not get into all that. I'll have my son contacting me in a minute, and he'll say, now here's the thing. And we'll have a 3-hour phone call. Mind you, they're not phone calls anymore, are they? He calls me on, I forget what platform it is on my phone. It's not a phone call. People don't do trunk calls, long distance calls to other countries anymore, do they? To be honest, there's no such thing as a phone call anymore. It's not a phone. I know people call it an iPhone, but it's not. It's just sort of an internet, whatever it is. Is it VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol? I don't know. I'm too old for all this. Actually, I'm not too old for all this. I do like to keep up with technology as best I can. I think what's happened with me, some of my friends are far more computer savvy than I am, and I know the reason why. Because my son has always been involved heavily in computers, I've just said to him, can you do this? Can you fix this? Can you fix that? And he has shown me, but I don't bother to take too much notice because I don't need to know, because he can do everything. So there we are. He can actually do everything. It's brilliant. Except he lives 3,000 miles away. Now that doesn't help, does it? Right, talking about my son and computers, I've got to disappear now. Where are we? About 40 minutes, aren't we? So that's not an hour, I know, but it's 40 minutes because I've now got to put in a cable from one side of the room to the other for when I move the computer. And I've got to do it properly and make it neat, because he'll come over here and he'll say, "What's that? What? You can't do that." I've seen photos of where his computer setup is. It's immaculate. It's perfect. There's not a cable or a wire in sight. Everything is perfect. Whereas in here, if you look around, it's just an absolute mess. There are wires everywhere and things hooked up, things hanging along off. Oh, anyway, I got to disappear now and try and sort it out. I've got rid of a lot of the mess, ready for when he comes over, but I've got a lot more to do. So thanks for listening as always. raiserants@protonmail.com. Do email me. Lovely to hear from you. The wind, I must go out there and sort that flag out. The wind now is pretty bad from the west. It's not so much cold. It's about 21 out there. Not so much cold, but the cherry tree's going mad. It's just horrible. It's a shame. Apparently, I don't do weather forecasts anymore, as you know, but at the end of next week, this coming week, there's going to be another heat wave. Yes, right, okay, well, I won't hold my breath. Look after yourselves. Be good. If you're bad, don't get caught. And I shall see you on Wednesday. Well, wiring permitting. That's if I don't mess everything up. Take care. Bye-bye for now.